Good evening and welcome to this week's edition of Ndg Now. I'm Gabriela Muzakio and here are today's top headlines. E-cigarettes are being promoted as a health-conscious alternative to smoking, but will the Borough City Council ban the devices from use in public?
That improves your sense of smell, improves your sense of taste.
This motion simply asks Quebec to make the same rules for electronic cigarettes as regular cigarettes.
Urban gardening has increased in popularity. Ndg residents have established a collective to grow and sell affordable produce from local gardens.
The idea is if we can produce vegetables as cheaply as possible, then we can sell them as cheaply as possible.
Murals are on almost every corner in Ndg. We'll see why the company who created the works has established a youth initiative.
And then if they get good, they can maybe become one of the recruit artists, and then
Local businesses have recently seen a rise in closures and lease cancellations. We hit the streets to see what Ndg residents have to say.
Dad's Bagels closed down, and I think some other stores down Sherbrooke closed down too.
E-cigarettes are the newest craze in the smoking world, but are they proving to be more controversial than the real thing? City Hall seems to think so. On September 16th, the Ndg Council unanimously voted on a motion to control vaping in public places. Mylène Ortenberg has more on the story.
Ndg City Councillor Marvin Rochon has proposed a motion that was welcomed with full support, hoping to regulate the e-cigarette revolution.
This motion simply asks Quebec to make the same rules for electronic cigarettes as regular cigarettes.
The e-cigarette motion revolves around three main points: selling to minors, regulating advertising, and banning its use in all public places. But what does this mean for those who are trying to break the habit?
Ndg resident Clément Langlois-Légaré started vaping 6 months ago in an effort to quit smoking cigarettes.
I used to smoke 2 packs a week. Now listen, maybe I'm gonna smoke once a week.
People like Clément compose 80% of Dave Gorman's vape shop business. Gorman is a member of the Electronic Cigarette Trading Association and argues that a law restricting public vaping is senseless.
I think that the focus of the government on banning in public places is misplaced, because why would you want to take something that stops you from coughing, that improves your sense of smell, improves your sense of taste, improves your well-being in general, and make people go back to smoking?
Rochon makes the following claims about the FDA's position on its health risks.
Many of the products they tested were shown to have toxic and even carcinogenic components in them.
However, the FDA website makes no such claims, and as Gorman points out, it's the estimated 6,000 other ingredients in actual cigarettes that are harmful, not the nicotine itself.
Nicotine has never been classified as a carcinogen with the World Health Organization. Nicotine really is not harmful. Yes, it may constrict blood flows, but so does caffeine.
But how do Ndg residents feel about the proposed ban?
C'est ridicule. S'il n'y a pas d'effet nocif pour le public, je vois pas pourquoi il y a de régulation.
Well, I guess it's not smoke, so it's okay.
Would you consider it secondhand smoke?
It's not smoke, first. Okay, second-hand vapor, là, I mean, it's stretching it un peu, là. C'est un peu tiré par les cheveux.
Quebec Public Health Minister Lucie Charlebois plans to have the ban passed by Christmas. We reached out for comment, but she has yet to respond. So, to vape or not to vape? For now, it's up to the provincial government to decide. For Ndg Now, I'm Mylène Ortenberg.
Over the past few years, Ndg has become quite famous for its murals. We've all seen them, the little boy playing with toys and Mother Nature, to name a few. Just 2 months ago, A-Shop, the company that paints these murals, created a non-profit organization. Since the company was founded 15 years ago, they have offered workshops to schools and Maison des Jeunes to teach youths about the mural process and to allow them to try it themselves. We spoke to Gavin McGregor, who works in marketing and sales at A-Shop. He explained that the nonprofit aims to train new local artists to host these workshops.
the objectives of the nonprofit will be to gather younger artist recruits and have them do the workshops and, you know, kind of create this hierarchy where you'll have the youth come in, they can learn, and then if they get good, they can maybe become one of our recruit artists, and then if they get really good, then they can start banging out big murals with us, you know.
The nonprofit organization will also aim to collaborate with similar companies across the globe. They are already working with a group in Kenya. The company hopes that these projects will lead to mural contracts in other countries. An NDG staple on Sherbrooke Street, Dad's Bagels, has closed its doors. According to the restaurant's former owner, this may be a sign of things to come for other mom-and-pop shops in the area. Kashmir Singh Randawa, the man who owned the restaurant for 20 years, has told Ndg Now that the cost of his commercial lease has tripled. This is due to the opening of the new MUHC hospital, which will increase the area's traffic. The property will be used to expand the Dollarama neighboring the former bagel shop.
I'm really sad it's closed. I enjoyed my bagel. I enjoyed my coffee there. Now the neighbors, it's not going to be the same.
It's weird. Dad's Bagels closed down, and I think some other stores down Sherbrooke closed down too. It's kind of sad because I've been living in the industry for a while, and what really adds character to it is all these little stores, the small businesses.
Ndg Now has spoken with local community agent Julia Lebedeva, who says that there's little that can be done to protect local businesses. Lebedeva says that the prices of the area's commercial properties will fluctuate based on a free market system and that there are no laws in place to protect small businesses. Sherbrooke Street merchants also currently do not have an association, which is something Lebedeva believes could help unite and protect the street's small businesses. From October to June, Transport Québec is allocating nearly $3.5 million to renovate the Vendôme Metro. The STM intends to improve navigation and passenger capacity in preparation for the MUHC Super Hospital. The station will stay open and construction will be done in stages. However, some commuters are concerned about service hindrance and deadline delays.
Knowing Quebec, yes, there will be problems with that. I feel like there will be a big delay. I feel like not a lot of I don't think it's going to be done on time, just because I don't feel like anything's ever done on time in Montreal.
People will be late getting to work, obviously. So I mean, they're going to have to advertise this because people don't like. I'm the first one to hear about it, So if I didn't hear about it, I'm sure a lot of others haven't heard about it, So.
Larger staircases, more turnstiles, and a tunnel to the Super Hospital are all underway. Hopefully, in the meantime, rush hour won't be too frustrating. 2 years ago, the Côte des Neiges Ndg Borough implemented a free book exchange service called the Livre Service. The concept was simple: take a book from one of the boxes, then leave one behind for the next person to repeat the same process. Though the project generated quite a bit of buzz when it first began, there has not been much talk of it since. We have Jessica Romero here in studio to give us more updates on the Livre Service project. Hi, Jessica.
Hi, Gabriella.
Can you tell me a little bit more about the initiative?
So the Livre Service project is a free book exchange service that was implemented by the city in late 2012 by Ndg Côte des Neiges. It's based on an honor system, and it's basically meant to promote sustainable literacy and to promote civic involvement. So if you pick up a book, you better leave one down after, because then no one else will be able to enjoy the service. So there's 8 boxes in total, 4 in Ndg and 4 in Côte des Neiges.
And how have citizens responded so far to the project?
So I spoke to Caroline Langis, who's the communications manager for the city, and she said that at first there was a lot of civic involvement and a lot of people using the boxes. But after they implemented the project, they kind of left it up to the citizens to propagate the success. The city doesn't collect any data, actually, so it's hard for them to keep actual tabs, but they do periodically check on the boxes to see if they're in good state, and they do peer inside to see if they're being used. She told me that the one at Vendôme, at the Vendôme Metro, is the one that's being used most often. So I went to go check on it myself, and that one does seem to be full, while the one here at the Concordia Loyola campus seems to be virtually empty aside from one other book.
So, Jessica, has the borough been looking into new ways to promote the project?
Well, Langis wasn't able to provide an official comment. She did say that they haven't really heard that much feedback lately. So, according to me and to other people that I've spoken to, they might need to start looking into new ways to promote the project.
Thank you very much for the update, Jessica.
Thank you.
An NDG-based volunteer group is working hard to promote sustainability. Cycle Alimentaire is transforming backyards by planting and harvesting fresh produce for the community. Cassandra Damasi has more on the story.
This is not your typical outdoor market. This is Cycle Alimentaire's bicycle market. The NDG-based volunteer group formed this spring. They are dedicated to growing fresh, organic produce in people's backyards, and they sell it back to the St. Raymond's community at an affordable price. The project is the brainchild of permaculture designer Max Godber. He wants to push the limits to see how much produce can be grown in small city gardens.
The idea is if we can produce vegetables as cheaply as possible, then we can sell them as cheaply as possible. People are happy, people are enjoying the produce, people think the price is right, so there's no reason why we shouldn't continue.
This right here is the biggest community garden the group is harvesting from. The garden belongs to retired educator Frami Norona. She learned about the project when she met Godber during a trip to the grocery store. She is one of 5 residents to volunteer her space to the group.
If some good can come out of it, why not, you know?
They transformed her backyard into a garden where kale, broccoli, tomatoes, and even gorilla squash can grow. This work does not come without its challenges, especially for a new group. Money for the project has come from their own pockets, and balancing schedules between the 15 volunteers has been tough. But the group wants to show that with some effort, anyone can make use of their green space.
We just want to show people that growing your own food is possible. It can be very cheap, and it's definitely a more sustainable and healthier option.
Godber hopes to continue selling and harvesting during the fall. The winter months will be used to reorganize and re-strategize for next season.
We have to go back, look at what we've done, look at the mistakes that were made, and then how we can avoid those mistakes happening again next year to make the project even more successful.
That's an interesting initiative, Cassandra. Do they have any plans for the future?
Right, well, the group is hoping to recruit more volunteers and maybe even team up with other organizations, maybe for next season. And right now they're selling at the corner of Oxford and Upper Lachine. The thing is, they actually don't have a permit to be selling there at the moment. They are working on it for next season. I spoke with a borough official about this, and he told me the group is doing great work in the community. It's a learning process for them, and they're going to work with them as well to see what they can do for next year.
Thank you very much. With urban agriculture on the rise, a record number of balcony, rooftop, and backyard gardens are sprouting. The newest trend to come out of Montreal's grow-your-own-food scene is the addition of beehives to these gardens. However, not everyone is on board with the bees, causing friction with one NDG resident. We go now to Shauna Loren. So Shauna, what's all the buzz about the beehives?
Well, Gabby, Matthew Trowell is an NDG resident who tried to implement a beehive into his local community garden. What started off as a simple gardening project turned into him being threatened. He was told that if he didn't remove the hive from his garden, he would be evicted.
Was Trowell breaking any laws by inserting a hive into his garden?
No, he wasn't breaking any laws. In fact, before he started his project, he did all the necessary research. He looked into the community bylaws, and there was nothing written stating that he couldn't implement this hive. Before starting his project, Trowell went as far as asking all the other residents part of his community garden if he could implement the hive. 39 out of the 40 said yes.
So what exactly went wrong, Shauna?
According to Trowell, it's when the city got involved that everything fell apart.
The one repeated objection is he's moved too fast. Well, I mean, I don't understand. They say, and then they'll say things like, well, maybe next spring. But if it's okay next spring, why is it not okay now? I mean, why wait till spring? It was all set up and ready to go.
Trowell believes that the main reason he won't be allowed to have a hive in his garden is that people have an unfounded fear of bees. What they don't know is that there's really nothing to be afraid of. Honeybees are actually friendly and won't sting unless they are provoked.
Will he try to make the project work again next spring?
Unfortunately, he won't. Trowell believes that even though people say they're open to having bees, they really aren't. Though many beehives can be found around the city of Montreal, it seems that the likelihood of one being added into this NDG community garden is slim.
Thank you for that, Shauna. Recapping our top stories, e-cigarettes may be banned in the borough pending legislation, and NDG residents set up to produce stands to promote sustainable gardening. For NDG Now, I'm your host, Gabriela Muzacchio. See you next week.